Hey, wake up. Because today we'll be talking about the recent Predator franchise sequel film from 20th Century Studios. That's not right. Cleverly called Prey. Someone not getting paid enough in naming department. Especially since it used to be called Skull for seemingly no reason. No, really, why? Why would it be called that? Because Predator collects skulls? That's hardly the main focus here. Speaking of main focus, while most are focused on the cool music, breathtaking scenery, or the mediocre story and characters the movie has to offer, I decided to subject myself to multiple viewings of this film, and as I did, I started to realize that we've been watching it all wrong. Viewers, I'm here to tell you that based on factual evidence in the movie, the true villain present in this movie is actually its hero. Heroine? Heroine? The protagonist, anyway. You know who I'm talking about, Naru. Our lovable, brave, noble warrior, hunter, leader, healer, comedic relief, animal trainer, part-time inventor. The story follows and revolves around. Yeah, her. See, I've come to the conclusion that if you really take a look at her and her actions throughout the film, I think you'll find she's not so loyal after all. I know. But don't worry, she has so many things to fall back on, it's borderline hilarious. So after this, we may have to take the expression heroine here with a handful of salt. Because today, folks, I'm here to tell you that Naru isn't the knight in not so shiny armor, not in armor really. The evil over at for the old-timey studio would have you believe she is, but rather a self-centered, cold-hearted sociopath. And while I can't say for sure that you fully agree with my findings, I can guarantee that you will never watch this monster movie the same way ever again. The signs shine through even from the base of our character if you really think about it. The first few minutes of the movie make her motives and goals pretty clear.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
Sure, it's pretty nice she wants to follow her dreams and doesn't care what
patriarchy.
Other people think, but it also shows that her motives and goals are completely self-serving. Let me clarify that. She's not trying to save anyone's life or even help them in any way. She's not aiming to protect her people from the threat of the predator. Only the end of the movie makes it look that way for some reason. Or to protect her sister from the Hunger Games, or because that artifact belongs in a museum. She's focused solely on her own glory and personal gain. It's even apparent in Naru's interaction with the only character she actually shows some form of care for in this entire movie. When Tabe kills the lion, threatening the lives of her people and gets named the war chief for it, or whatever that is, because Lord knows Google has no idea. Unless he becomes Santa Ana, because they're completely obsessed with that guy. How does she react? Is she glad that her village is now safe from the threats? Is she happy that her brother has achieved his... I'm not pronouncing that. Of course not, despite this clearly being a significant achievement for him, which she definitely understands, since she literally has the exact same goal in mind. She's not even content with him trying to give her credit for it.
You did it!
No. We didn't do it.
Instead, she even chooses to diminish his accomplishments by reminding him of a greater threat in the middle of his celebrating.
There's something else out there.
But hey, what's a little emotional scarring between siblings, right? It's not like she's a murderer. I mean, she was protecting herself. It's not like she attacked first. It's not like they had earlier left her alive, even though she had been in a position that they could easily have done otherwise for several hours. The Frenchmen only decided to kill Naru after she has made explicitly clear that she is willing and capable of separating their souls from their bodies. In fact, this guy still spares her life mid-fight, while he has a clear shot of so many of Naru's vital organs and a fully functioning knife hanging from his belt. He decides not to use it and attempt to restrain her instead. And what does he get for this moment of compassion? He gets stabbed in the head with his own knife. The one he chose not to hurt her with. How ironic. But hey, she saves the dog and her theme song is awesome, so that makes it fine, right? Right? What about the fact that afterwards, an injured, bleeding, dying man literally begs her for help, and she only does so when he offers her something valuable in return, and then proceeds to leave him to die in the hands of the predator? Which is bad, but probably not as bad as cutting off a person's leg, making sure the predator finds them, and then watching the satisfaction while they get brutally murdered before your eyes. But then again, why care about the Frenchmen? After all, he didn't know them for a few hours and so was able to accurately assess their collective lives' worth, which totally gave her the right to end their lives. It's not like they had family or friends, people waiting eagerly for them to come back home. People who actually care about them, something I probably can't comprehend. Well, if they did, I guess those people will have to wait a lot longer to see their loved ones now, won't they? Believe what you will, But the fact of the matter is, Naru is a mostly emotionless being whose single-minded goal is to prove her own hunting prowess at the expense of the lives of anyone who stands in her way. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, the Predator. Now, I'm not about to tell you Naru is the Predator or something crazy like that. I'll tell you that for another day. I'm just pointing out the fact that they are clearly nearly identical from a character standpoint. And the movie actually seems to know this. There are multiple moments that intentionally show him in the same scenario as her, seemingly to showcase their similarities, in fact. I mean, it doesn't get much more on the nose than that, does it? And the result of all this is it generally makes the main character more boring to the audience because, surprise, surprise, empathy is a thing that makes people likable and relatable. It's something we can understand and look up to. Look, it's fine to have a protagonist who lacks it, but either present them in a way that makes it clear that this is the case and not something to be proud of, or make the character learn and change their ways throughout the course of the story. That's probably the worst part of Naruto's character as a whole, is the fact that she learns nothing. And I don't just mean from a moral perspective. She doesn't improve in skill, mental, or physical prowess, or her relationship with others either. She somehow manages to come out of the movie just as she went in, which I found odd because around the movie's beginning, there's even a line that implies that she was on a path to learn something here.
You think the reason for Kotamiya is to prove you can hunt? But there's only one reason. To survive.
From that line, I personally had thought that she would go on this journey of self-discovery where she would learn that hunting in and of itself exists for the purpose of helping people, not for the sake of glory, which would have made the Predator the perfect antagonist for this story, the epitome, an example of what not to be. But instead, all we got was a story that feels like, to me, wasted potential, where there's the main villain who feels like he's there only for fan service, and so the movie has a villain, and the main character who's a self-absorbed jerk being enabled by the scripts and so never sees fit to change, leaving the audience having nothing to actually learn from. And honestly, a story with nothing to learn from, is that really a story worth telling? Now get back to bed.